Hello my fellow pod pilots of New Eden, my name is Eddie Rio and this is PvP RoamAntics episode 15. Now I've got builders next door banging away on the bloody wall and Derek's going mental, so I'm going to try and record this audio in between it all, but if there's lots of banging going on and Derek screaming, I do apologise. So I'm in the trusted Celestis again. I can't get enough of this. This time it's shield fit and I do have the blue pills as well. I've got a large ancillary shield booster and an extra large ancillary shield booster, so it can tank quite a lot, especially with the blue pill as well. I'm up against a Vexer here and he's pretty well fit, and I'm just slowly trying to get rid of his drones. I use my auto cannons to get rid of the drones and keep my drones on his ship, because they're the sort of the most DPS, and my small auto cannons are really good at taking out the drones, so it's a good little system to use there, which I do. He started attacking some of my drones, so it's again the sort of drone war situation going on. I've been having a little play with the armor fit that I've got for this as well, and instead of using autocannons I've started to use 3 small newts, and it's an absolute beast at taking on frigates because you can have 2 webs and a scram as well as a really hefty armor tank, and it just seems to work really well. Now the problem I have here with this fit, if you notice, is I've been capped out by that Vexer and there's nothing I can do. I keep losing my point and I lose my shield, so this is the downside of it. And absolutely gutted as he was slipping into armor there. I lost the point and I was trying to spam it, but absolutely gutted that that guy got away. But that's the downside of this fit, is that I don't have a cap booster to keep myself going with those 2 ancillary shield boosters there. Now here I've spotted a Cerberus floating about and I'm trying to get him into scram range. Luckily he's just coming straight for me. He wants to fight as well. He doesn't have a scram, he's just got a point, so I can still use my micro warp drive to my advantage here and move around a little bit. And he's got a really good shield tank, being a Cerberus obviously, and it's just a battle of who can keep their shield tank up the longest. He's got a lot more DPS than me, so I'm having to do a lot of work here to keep my tank up. I've overheated my invulnerability field and I've overheated my guns and my ancillary shield booster as well. I'm using the large one, and then once that's run out I even use a bit of my own capacitor just to keep that shield booster running a bit, and then I swap over to the extra large one. If you notice, his shields are going right down and then going right back up again, so he's got a really good tank on his fit as well. Now one-on-one like this, the Myrmidon stands a pretty good chance of taking down a Cerberus, so I've just got to keep plugging away at it and seeing, you know, how well I can do here. I've got a little while to sort of sit it out and try and do my best and put as much DPS on him as possible. He's stopped applying DPS at this point. I don't know whether he's just reloading or not. Hopefully he's burnt out his guns, which would have been nice, which is what I was thinking. And if he'd burnt out his guns, I would have stood a really good chance up against this guy. But he might have been also changing his missile type as well to see which is going to hit a little bit better. And as you can see, he then starts reapplying DPS to me, and it's really starting to take its toll. And then on the overview, 80 kilometers away, a Falcon decloaks. Really annoyed. I've already thrown my mouse down in anger here that he's going to lock me up. But for some reason he doesn't, and he leaves me afterwards after talking to the guy. The guy said, you know, that he didn't want him to engage, but I know that if that Cerberus would have got into trouble, then that Falcon is going to come out and appear anyway. You know, whether he was going to honour the sort of the 1v1 element of it or not, he's got a Falcon there and he can use it at any point. So to me, I'm dead in the water here. I'm not very happy. You know, I'm thinking about just trying to get out of it now. Another Cerberus has come in right as that first Cerberus was really starting to lose a lot of shields there, but then, you know, he could be bait tanking a little bit and he starts repping straight back up again. So just, you know, frustration. Now's the time to sort of think about bailing. I thought, you know, I could hang on and try and get that Cerb, but at the moment I know the DPS is just going to be a little bit too much for me to take. So it's time to think about bailing, and you know, I start looking at some Celestials that I can align to and start putting my micro warp drive on and see if I can make some distance away. Luckily I can use my micro warp drive because they've just got warp disruptors fitted, so I can perhaps start trying to make a little bit of range. Just as my extra large ancillary booster runs out of charges, my large has reloaded, so I can keep my shields going a little bit. I burn out my guns. There's a little bit of panicking going on now, but I start to look at my range and I'm sort of slowly moving away, 18 kilometers, 19 kilometers, 20 away. And now it's just a race to see if I can get away in time and warp away, because I'm out of his point range. Get out of the point range and manage to warp away. Really happy about that. Obviously didn't want to lose a Myrmidon there. And good little fight. But I know he had a Falcon in reserve there that he didn't use, and you know, but it was okay. It was a good one. I managed to escape, which was always good. Later in local, he accused me of using ECM drones, which I didn't do, and hopefully he can see there that I did just move out of his point range and warp away. So I didn't use the ECM there, which I absolutely hate using. I do sometimes carry ECM drones, but I don't really like to use them if possible. Back in my armor Celestis with dual webs and scram, and up against the Moa. Really good looking ship now. The Moa looks really cool. It's like kind of bird like. I like it. I'm definitely going to try the Moa out because it can get a really good shield tank on it, and it's just sort of a nice 1v1 at the moment. Kitsune and a Caracal does appear as well. There is a lot of stuff on scan, and I'm not sure whether they're all going to start aggressing me or if they're going to start aggressing him at the moment, so I'm just going to keep going. One of them locks me up and aggroes me instantly, so now I've got a Moa and a Caracal on me, and my tank isn't really going to take this. At this point, I think what would have been a really good idea is to swap over to the Caracal before he moved out of that scram range, because the Caracal would have probably had a much lesser tank than this Moa does. The Moa has obviously got a really good tank here, and if I'd have swapped over, I probably could have got that Caracal down really quickly, and you know, maybe even then to carry on to take the Moa out afterwards. But you know, once you've made your bed, you lay in it, and I missed my opportunity to get that Caracal, so I've switched straight over. I've stuck to the Moa, and I'm just going to try and overheat all my modules and see if I can do this. Struggling with cap a little bit, and the Moa is dropping. We're dropping kind of at the same rate there, and my heart's going a little bit. I'm hoping that I can get a few more reps off, but unfortunately then another Caracal turns up and it's death for me. But really cool fight there, and like I said, if I just swapped over to that Caracal as soon as he landed, things could have been slightly different and I might have got a kill. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I didn't really kill anything, and I lost the ship, but I escaped a couple of times, and a guy that escaped and I lost point on, but that's the way of EvE sometimes. It's not always amazing, cool kills, and you can't always show that. If you're into EvE fan fiction, you can click on the screen now. It'll take you to a video that I put together by a man named Kaitane, who's in EvE, and he did a really good story, and I got him to record the audio, and just like you to go and have a listen to it. I think you really enjoy it. Anyway, till next time, fly safe.